co-creating a world filled with positive possibilities while leading by example, My Power of One takes a stand for kindness. In The Wizard of One, Sue Vicory is joined by new guests in each episode to share inspiring stories and challenge the listener to continue transforming humanity one word and one act of kindness at a time. Be sure to stop by mypowerofone.com and join the movement at mypowerofone on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Hello, and welcome to The Wizard of One, a magical journey of kindness. We are brought to you by My Power of One, which is the website mypowerofone.com, and Heartland Films, which can be found at SueVicory.com. My name is Sue Vicory, and I am the host. Today, we are so excited to have in the studio Stephen Toal. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes.
Toal. Okay, very good. Stephen Toal is 41 years old. Has been in Fort Scott, Kansas his whole life. He moved to Kansas City for 10 years and then moved back. He was always considered different and artistic. He used to draw with charcoal a lot in high school, mainly animals and faces. And Steve had started to drink and party at a young age and ended up in rehab. He needed to change. His counselor told him to go back to what he liked to do in high school and pursue that. And that was art. Stephen already had a lot of tattoos at the time, so he put two and two together and decided he was going to be a tattoo artist. Tattooing led to other venues of art, such as wall murals and painting. One of Stephen's favorite graffiti artists is Kipto.
Yep.
Is that, huh?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep, correct. He started his own business last year, called Toll Bucket LLC, which we will find how we can get a hold of Stephen after listening to this. He does photography, wall murals, and just overall art. This July, Stephen will have been clean and sober for 4 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He believes in a higher power and believes that is why he is where he is in life, which we will explore that here in a little bit. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello. Thank you.
You've had, what, a 90-minute drive to get up here today?
Yeah, somewhere
Something like
around
that?
there.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad. The sun was out, so.
That's true. No rain today, so that's good.
No,
Yeah.
well, it was gloomy in Fort Scott, but on the way
know.
here, it started to clear up.
It's not
so,
bad. Hot and humid.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
Kansas. Yeah. You recently received the Community Champion Award, I saw on social media. Let's start a little bit. We've got so much to cover today, but let's start. Tell me, how did that experience winning that award, maybe your first of many awards, how did that feel and what does that mean to you from your hometown?
Yeah, I don't know. It was surreal, considering where I was at 4 years ago. I don't know. It was humbling, seeing everybody in the community all come together and realizing that everybody has your back, like a community should, I think. So it was a cool. I was nervous.
The whole family was there and everything, and
yeah.
Right.
My wife was there with me. The mayor, Josh Jones. I've been friends with him since we were kids.
Wow. Is he about your age then?
Yeah, he's my age. So he's watched me progress and watched me, and he's helped me in a lot of many ways, showed me, how do I go about promoting a wall mural for Fort Scott. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was like a full circle thing in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the beginning of many, I'm going to guess.
I hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Yeah. You hope you continue in your expanding your art. I do want to say that this is the first time we've met in person, and but I have been watching your murals that you've been creating on social media on Facebook, and have driven myself, and my husband and I came down and looked for yours. We like, where do we find the one that's underneath the bridge, kind of a thing. And then the one out at Gun Park with the angel wings we used in a music video that we did this last year.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the music video?
Yeah,
Did I send it to you?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And so I am a big, I have a lot of passion for graffiti artists is what I call them. You know, I think I told you Banksy has been someone that I've followed for a long time, and it's so contrasting to who I am. You know, I'm a creative too, but obviously not, you know, this is a different realm. And so I'm fascinated by the structure of your personality. And, you know, artists are unique sort of human beings that have challenges, you know, from being creative. Tell us about growing up in Fort Scott. It's a historic town. It's got a lot of history there. You've lived there your whole life except the 10 years in Kansas City. And then the pathway that you chose to start drinking and whatever else you did. Tell us a little bit. Take us on that journey a little bit.
Fort Scott's obviously a small town. I kind of, you know, I didn't grow up in a bad home. I just kind of chose the wrong path.
Did that start in Kansas City? I mean, you were out of high school at that point, right?
I'd say it started probably when I was about in middle school.
Okay.
I used to get in trouble a lot. I wouldn't consider myself bad. I just had a problem with authority. I didn't like being told what to do. So I don't know, either that or just attention. But I went to a juvenile boot camp when I was in high school.
Okay. They have that down there in Fort Scott?
No, it was in Forbesville, Topeka. It was like the first program. I was on probation for missing school and doing all that other stuff. But that's kind of when I started drinking, is about when I was 14. Just had a few drinks here and there. I'd see all my friends were doing it. Everybody was doing it, so I just really wanted to fit in, you know. I was really immature. But
which I suppose most 14-year-olds are, right?
Yeah, I think I just took it a little too extreme. But that just started just a bad pathway, I guess you could say. I'm an addictive person. I can recognize that now. But back then I couldn't. I didn't pay no attention. I just thought it was normal. But it just carried over. Once drinking was fun at one point, and then got to the point where I couldn't stop, and therefore it wasn't any fun anymore. It was miserable.
You're out of control a little bit from being functional.
Yep. But
were you in Kansas City at that time? Did you come up for junior college, or what brought you to the city?
I came up to Kansas City actually for a girlfriend. I met a girl in Fort Scott, and she wanted to move to the city, so we moved up here. I worked at JCPenney Distribution Center for about close to 8 years. I got a DUI on my 30th birthday and ended up losing my job because they took my car. So I ended up moving back to Fort Scott. That's what brought me back to Fort Scott.
Did you move back home, or did you?
I moved back in with my parents for about 3 months till I can get a job. But I had a lot of tattoos then, so.
You started getting them like as a teenager, or how did you?
When I turned 21, I saved up my money and I wanted one. No, I was 18. No, I was 18. I had Joplin eyewitness tattoo.
Joplin? Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you start? What was your first tattoo? What part?
It was just a tribal dragon.
Okay. Was that the whole arm?
No, I did that
Just
in a
that-
different setting,
Okay.
but it was just this one up at the
That
top.
one up there. That was your first one then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just picked it off the wall. I was just eager to get one. I didn't really care what
I
it
see.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, my son-in-law has sleeves, as I've learned the verbiage. And so, you know, there's certain verbiage that goes along with tattoos. Like I learned tat, you know, as short for. And so it's a whole world of knowing. And honestly, it's an expertise, don't you think?
Yeah, I think
It's gotten popular in the last, 10 or 20 years.
It's acceptable. That's what I was saying. When I first moved back to Fort Scott, when I had all my tattoos, it was kind of taboo for me. Everyone looked at me differently.
I bet.
It wasn't
They're
as
visible.
acceptable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not as acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. in a small town community like that.
But
yeah.
it's changed there. It's a lot different now.
Interesting.
People
yeah.
are more open-minded towards art. And,
Right. Maybe the next generation also is kind of growing up to manage some of the things in the city, and so it's a sort of a wider expansive view or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. All right, so the Community Champion Award, was it a trophy? What do you
It's
know?
like a glass trophy.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's pretty neat.
Your first one for your shelf at home, or
Yeah, first thing I ever won.
wow.
Well, I used to wrestle, but
Okay.
other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago.
That's pretty impressive, and I'm sure it had a lot of meaning to you just because of your journey that you've been through, and you, as I've marketed you, for this, you are an artist. There's no two ways about it, and you've just been able to express that in different ways because you're a photographer, so you do professional photography in and around the community. But your murals is how I first sort of connected with you, and I know you've done, 6 or 8 or 10 in Fort Scott. You did the one at the barber,
Yeah.
inside the barber, I read on your social media about needing a practice wall.
Yeah, that's in the works. I've talked to the mayor about it. I'd like a community practice wall for
For others?
yeah.
Okay.
For an outing for teenagers or anybody willing to learn,
Right. A better choice than drinking or drugs.
Exactly.
Expression.
Or a better choice than painting on somebody's wall you're not supposed to, you know.
Right.
So now, because I've noticed there's starting to be a lot of graffiti around the skate parks, and some of the stuff I covered up was, and that's probably just some teenager looking to
For self-expression of some
himself,
sort,
yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, you see the freight trains that go by and
Yeah.
all the stuff that's on those. Tell me about the process and how one goes from either commissioning you and saying, would you do something, do you do a sketch first? How does the process go as far as you creating a whole wall? Take me through the steps of that.
It just varies on what the customer's wanting, I try to make all my own stuff unique in my own way.
They might give you a general idea, like something historic or
Give
something.
me something to run with, and then I'll do some sketches. I do a lot of digital art. I'll take a picture of the area that they want the mural on, and I'll do like overlays. I'll throw different ideas to them.
Is there software you use for that, or how's that
I
work?
use Procreate. It's on my iPad.
Is it an Adobe type?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
But I use that, and there's also another one. It's a pretty simple program. It's an app called Studio.
Okay.
It's on my iPad too. I use that for a lot of overlays. I have it on my phone as well. But
Okay. So it's almost like storyboarding in a way?
yep.
Yeah, where you create sort of a general look-see, and then you can move things around if you want to, I suppose.
Yeah, I can warp walls, or I can do all kinds of different
Yeah, because you have
things.
a lot of different backgrounds that you paint on,
Yeah.
from brick to, cement, all kinds of different, probably barns and all kinds of stuff.
But that's how I show the customer this is what it's going to look like.
Okay.
This is the size. This is, I just give them a general idea without, because I still switch it up. It doesn't always go as planned all the time.
Because you're an artist.
Yeah, so a lot of times I switch it up, but most of the time I keep to the general idea of it.
Okay. And then your paint, is it spray paint? Is it a little combination? And is it different? This is just technicality things. Is it different paint for different walls? Tell me about what you apply. Is there a whitewash you do at the beginning or something, or how?
Normally I'll primer it. It just varies on what it is, like the material. Brick walls I like to use. I'll use a base coat paint, just a regular rolling paint, and then I'll spray paint on top of that.
I see.
So that'll keep the structure for it. But the acrylic paints I use it's called 94 Montana colors.
Can you get them locally, or do you have to order them on Amazon?
I order them on sprayplanet.com.
Okay.
I think Amazon carries it all too, but I have a business account through them, so it's just faster to do it that way. But they're low pressure cans
Okay.
with different caps, so you can control it
Gotcha.
a little bit more than
Okay.
your basic spray paint.
Especially when you're
can.
doing outlines and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and you don't want dripping and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So you start out by, doing a canvas, basically, like an artist would,
Mhm.
right? And then you do some outlining of what your
Yeah.
vision is for it, and then from there you fill in, or
Yeah, you're exactly right. I call it the fill. Yeah,
Okay.
I go in with my first tone of colors, either background. I like to start with my background and finish my background first,
okay, that makes sense.
and then so the overspray from the subject matters. I call them subject matters. Say
People or animals
people,
or whatever's
anything,
in it.
whatever I want the focal point to be of that picture, and then I'll do it last.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Then you add some accents, or
yeah,
I suppose there's some words sometimes you put, or
I try to stay away from wording
Okay.
because to me, lettering's more advertising. I like to tell a story through a picture
just
as
visual.
opposed
Yeah.
as opposed to phone. You know what I
Do
mean?
you sign and date them then, or do you sign them, or?
I like to hide buckets in mine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's kind of cool for the kids too
that is cool.
to go through and kind of like where's
To
Waldo?
find them, yeah. And then do you photograph all of them, and do you keep like a digital sort of photo album?
I still have the pictures, but I'm not that organized.
Okay, yeah. It
I
takes,
just, to tell you the truth, I don't really like to look at my previous work. I like to just keep moving
Yeah.
forward. It motivates me to.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's
kind
like
of
being
cool.
a filmmaker too. You don't need, look at the old stuff. You're
Yeah.
busy working on whatever the current one is.
Yeah.
That's how a creative breathes.
Mhm.
Yeah, different. And then you have a family, so you have young children. So
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got a lot of going on, a lot of responsibility, a lot of juggling a lot of things, being a dad, being a husband, and being a community, I won't say leader, but, you are sort of prominent in the community now with people coming to you with different things and appreciating your art and your value. You've done some stuff out of town. You did something in Mound City.
Yeah.
Saw Bronson or something
Bronson,
recently.
Yeah. I'm trying to branch out right now. I'm not very good at marketing, so.
What's your wish list? What would be, let's just say the wildest phone call came in while we're having our podcast today, and you got a call. What could that look like? I think setting intentions are sort of fun.
Like a wish list? Like, what do you mean?
Like, for instance, would you like someone in a major city, Los Angeles, New York City, who has seen your work, say,
okay.
can you come and do, the Bronx, or I don't know, that kind of thing.
Honestly, I'd really like to tattoo some of the Chiefs players.
There's the intention right there.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. Very good job.
Stuff like that. To me, I love football. I love sports. So that whole vicinity of stuff, whether it's a mural or tattoo or anything, that's why I brought that drawing of Patrick Mahomes.
Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
We're audio, but I want to see it in person because I'm going to figure out how to get a print of it from you. Of the three of us in this room, and my producer Katie is here as well, if we had to have a poll, I'm not sure who the three of us would be the number one Mahomes fan. I'm going to say it was me, but I'm sure both of you would say it was you. So you've done this. What medium is this? Is this pencil or
Graphite.
Graphite.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pencil. It's just different. There's like HB, HB1, HB2. They're different tones.
Okay. That's like charcoal, or what is graphite?
It's not as dense as charcoal. It's just
Okay.
like a regular pencil.
I see.
It's just there's different densities to it, so.
And then how long did it take you? What I'm looking at is a picture of Patrick Mahomes' head. And it's a kind of a side view, and he's got sunglasses on. And in the reflection of the sunglasses is Mahomes 15. So obviously we're big Chiefs fans here, and as we should be. So how long did it take you to do this? And here, you hold it and let Katie take a picture of you too over there. Tell me what was, I won't ask the inspiration for it because that's obvious, but tell me, how long did it take to do that? Seems like that would take a long time, but.
It didn't take that long, actually. It took me probably 8 hours.
Crazy.
But
I would have said 6 months. 8
the hair
hours.
took me a long time. If I can tell Patrick
I got to see it
Mahomes-
again. Got to see it again.
Yeah, the hair took a while.
Wow.
My hand was worn out by the time I got to the hair. But I always do
I
things bigger. I chose a big. I probably could have cut that picture in half and been just fine with it. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna go big with this.
I like the size of it. Yeah. And I read that this is a keeper for you.
Yeah, I was gonna get some prints made, but
I'll need a print when you get
all
a print
right,
made,
I'll get
please.
you one.
I would think that you could probably sell prints of these, and that would be freaking awesome. Let's talk for a minute about how people can get a hold of you, and tell the audience where they can reach you if they need to read, your business card or whatever.
The fastest way is either Instagram or Facebook. You can go to #ToalBucket81 or just Stephen Toal on Facebook. I also have a business page on Facebook, Toal Bucket. But
Okay. Social
it's hard,
media.
it's hard to keep up with
It
all
is hard.
those. So
Tell me about it. Yeah.
I have an assistant that she works for me and answers my messages and
Nice.
stuff. But
You could probably get an intern,
yeah,
maybe from the junior college.
Yeah.
Someone that would love to get some experience.
Mhm.
That's a recommendation that I would certainly have for you. All right, so we talked about how to get a hold of you, and we'll talk about that again before we close out today. Is there an avenue of art that you are interested in pursuing? You've done photography, you've done the murals, obviously that's a sketch, and then your tattoos. Is there an avenue of art that you're interested in pursuing that you haven't yet? Because art is art. I mean, it's expansive.
I'd like to try some chalkboard art. I've seen a few artists do chalkboard art, and it's pretty neat.
Is that like in a facility? Like there's a wall that's a chalkboard or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds challenging.
It is. It's a little different. That's why I'm
Different medium
curious
of
about
sorts.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you can do different styles of it too.
Right.
Sidewalk art too. Same
Yeah.
way with that. I think.
That's true.
But that's a whole different type of medium.
That's true, and that can wash away, and then it's there's that. What tell us about how a commission would work with you if someone wanted you to come to their town and do something. What would they'd reach out to you obviously, but what would be the steps of how that would work?
Just message me, send me ideas that you have, send me a picture of the material and the size, the measurements, and then we can just go from there.
Okay.
I said normally I'll do overlays for somebody just to give them a fast idea. Pricing wise, it just all varies too on if you want realism, if you want graffiti style, if you want, cartoonish
Well, if it's far away
style.
too, you'd have traveling expenses
yeah.
and stuff. And would it take you? What series of days would it take you to finish one? Just say hypothetically. Because I know
I'm pretty fast. I could.
Okay.
I knocked the one out in Bronson in one day.
Wow.
In 8 hours.
Okay.
That's why I like spray paint, because you can move pretty quick. It just varies on the size
Okay.
and the design.
But you could do it over a weekend if
Oh yeah.
necessary. Okay. Do you have a crew? I mean, do you need more than one person?
Right now it's just me. You want to work for me?
Assistant would be nice. It'd be nice for
Yeah,
carrying stuff and
There's
going to get lunch and stuff like that. It'd be nice
there's
to
some
have.
there's some pretty talented artists in Fort Scott that
Really?
I'm interested in working with at some point. So
interesting.
hopefully, if I can get some jobs lined up,
Yeah.
we can spread the love with some of the other artists too. So
Sure. Good point.
that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, a little coalition of
Yeah.
people doing a job
Yeah.
together.
I think would be neat not just to have me, but have the people from the whole town go around and
Yeah.
paint up things.
Right. You did the project in Mound City at the sheriff's office, tribute to Stacy, who passed away this last year. And
Correct.
Came up and did that in a day or so, did you?
Yeah, I did that in about 5 hours.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy job.
Yeah, but also very meaningful to the
Yeah.
community. And there's a lot of those small town America that probably have a wall that they'd love to have commemorating something,
Yeah.
to the history of who they are. I drive around Mound City looking for walls. You've been up there, but we did a butterfly on one of the walls that We had about a dozen people working on, but I'm like, could I buy a building that had a cool wall and then I could put, we talk about this a lot because I'm visual. So I'm like, what could we put here that would be meaningful to the community? Are they permanent? I mean, do they last a long time? Do they fade, or how do the murals?
With the material I use, there's a ceiling in it that lasts 10 years.
Okay.
So, but you can also buy a varnish to overlay with that'll make it last 20 or 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
There's graffiti repellent stuff too that you can put on that'll repel other paints and spray paints to keep your stuff safe. But,
and you've been drawing and painting since you were in grade school or a child? Or?
Yeah, since I was probably like 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just took a pencil and paper or whatever and just started doodling around.
Well, I started doodling on desk at school. I got in trouble.
Yeah. Your children now are what age are they?
My son's 7, my daughter's 2.
Wow.
And I have a 23-year-old. So.
Oh, wow. So, and are you seeing any creative juice in any of the kids far as
my 7-year-old draws every day.
Interesting.
It's his favorite thing to do.
Okay.
There's drawings all over the place.
Hard not to emulate you, I suppose. You're the father figure in the house and all that.
We sit down and draw together, so that's kind of our little activity we do.
First grade or second grade?
He's in first grade.
Okay.
He'll be in second grade now.
Second grade this next year. Same school that you went to, or no?
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah.
Winfield Scott.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, interesting. All right. Well, let's talk about. We've talked about the avenue of art that you're interested in. You talked about sidewalk chalk or chalk drawings of some sort. Here's a good question for you. Let's talk about advice to the next generation. And that's a broad question, but I ask it from the perspective of you used to be a teenager and in your 20s, and you saw what took you in a right or wrong direction, and now you're in a full circle sort of a thing. What advice would you give to a 14-year-old, just generally speaking? Because, your 7-year-old will be 14 in a matter of time. He may not listen to advice from Dad, but what would you give to a group of 14-year-olds? It's kind of a broad question, but I still like it.
Mm-hmm. I guess if I can go back to tell my 14-year-old self, I would probably tell myself to slow down.
That's good.
Be patient,
Okay.
Good things come.
Yeah.
But like I said, you just have to be patient. As a kid, I was really impatient. I want what I want, and I wanted it now. So,
okay.
But
well, that's maybe part of being a creative energy.
Mm-hmm.
You're needing to expel that energy all the time. That's probably part of your personality, I would imagine. But you made choices that in hindsight you would not make again.
True. Yeah, I've learned the hard way, which is good.
It's good that you came full circle and that you're able to gift the world with what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Is there any way to detour 14 to 18-year-old from going down that path? I mean, it's kind of a silly question, but if you were, let's just say a 16-year-old came and was your assistant and you saw that he was kind of going down that same path, would there be words of wisdom that would be impactful? Obviously, been there, done that, but Yeah. You're going to probably have that opportunity at some point.
The advice that I would give to anybody that was struggling at anything is to not give up. There's
light at the end of the tunnel.
There's light at the end of the tunnel, but also if I think that they're going down the wrong path, I hate to say it, but sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
Right. Bottom out or whatever.
Yeah. Because most of the time when somebody's doing something wrong, they know they're doing it wrong.
Of course. Right.
And that was my biggest problem was accepting responsibility.
Right.
So once I started
claiming your
accountability. Mm-hmm. Once I started making the fact that it was my own doing, then things started to get a little better. So I guess that would be my advice.
You felt like you had control.
Be accountable.
Yeah, that's true. Claim the responsibility of your life. Yeah, interesting.
I like to think I'm accountable for anything that happens to me today. Yeah. As long as good or bad, I'll take accountability for it, but also it's the way that you handle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's lessons in everything.
Yeah.
whether or not it's winning an award and being humble or feeling humble or grateful, or whether or not it's making choices that take you to jail or whatever kind of thing. You know,
Exactly.
you own it all. And I'm a believer that we attract who we are. So, you know, when you think about that, people come into your life, like for me, for instance, I have had my eyeball on you for a period of time. And I have worked pretty hard to get you in here because I wanted our dots to connect. And so, you know, we're in different stages of our career, but we're supportive because we get each other. You know, I'm a visual storyteller. You're, you know, an artist in a different way. My youngest daughter is an artist, so she has, you know, gifts, which I don't have your gift, you don't have mine, kind of a thing. But, you know, your counselor told you to go back and do what you love. And that was a turning point for you. It gave you something to hang on to and something to sort of grasp for. Do you think everybody has knowledge of that?
I think they do.
I think we're lucky, but do you think everybody's got? I would think so, but
I think you do. It's just you have to find it within yourself. For me to find it, I had to hit rock bottom.
okay.
You know, I had to accept the fact like I needed to change. So
Yeah, that was not a road you wanted to continue on.
yeah,
You didn't want
and
to be.
being an artist was. I mean, it's still hard. You're up for criticism. A lot of people don't like certain styles, and then
Right.
people can be pretty mean. So
Yeah, no matter what we do, we're up for criticism,
Oh,
I
yeah.
suppose. Whether or not we pay attention or listen is up to us.
yeah,
But, you know, maybe part of it was, can I make a living at it?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was another thing. I never really, growing up, I never really realized you can make money with art. But yeah, it's pretty high demand. I wanted to do something that nobody did.
Interesting.
So I never seen a tattoo artist that did photography. I'd never seen a photographer that did wall murals. I figured, or drawing, you know, I just figured I could start up, not just be an artist, be an overall artist, not just focus on one thing.
True. Yeah. And expand as needed or as your interest took you.
Because actually doing photography helps with my drawings. It helps me learn the contrast, helps me learn values of colors and everything else. The same way with tattooing, it helps me. The same way I apply tattoos, the same way I would apply drawing on a wall. You know, everything helps each other. So.
Yeah, you're telling a story.
Uh-huh.
Either with your picture or your tattoo or your wall art is really a story, a visual,
Yeah.
you know, stationary story. And, you know, it's admirable. I mean, graffiti artists, as I call them, it's probably not the term nowadays, but it's gotten to be in vogue, in my opinion. Did you see the Banksy movie that was out many, many years ago? If not, I'm going to send you that link.
I've seen some of it. I have. I actually
Yeah.
watched some Banksy things on Netflix not too long ago.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, phenomenon a little bit because it wasn't popularized back then. And he's had this whole, nobody knows who he is kind of intrigue, you know, involved with it and stuff like that. But let's talk about family and faith. You know, you've got a solid family unit. And your faith has sustained you on a day-to-day basis, I'm guessing, because even as a prior addict,
Yeah.
you still, I imagine, are tempted
Yeah,
when
every day.
things aren't looking good or whatever. How do you bridge that? What do you do when you're like, maybe I'll have a quick one here while I'm and nobody will know? Tell me about that temptation. And
I go to AA and I go to NA meetings pretty regularly. You know, I like to, once I feel like I'm putting my will in front of everything else, that's when things start going south. So
Okay.
like, it's part of being accountable. I have to be accountable. I have to go to meetings. I have to put in the footwork. I
Okay.
have to volunteer to do things.
Okay,
Basically, I have to do everything that I don't want to do in order
interesting.
to do what needs to be done.
To stay clean,
Yeah.
and to stay focused on
Yeah.
your journey,
Yeah.
because you want to be healthy.
Yeah. Like I said, I believe in a higher power. I believe in a purpose.
Yeah.
My faith is strong. That's kind of what really changed me, was my belief in a higher power.
Was it consistent through your life, or did it ebb and flow a little bit? Or
I grew up in a Pentecostal church. My mom's actually a preacher, so is my stepdad.
okay,
My sister's is a vice principal, married to a youth minister. So, and then there's me.
yeah,
But I kind of, it's like I said, I was a kid, I was rebellious. I didn't
Yeah.
like being told what to do. Everyone put the fear of God in you, like, you do this, you're gonna go there, and so I don't know. My beliefs just kind of shied away.
Well, and they somehow carried you through because you didn't exit.
Yeah.
You
Well,
survived it.
there was a time when I was in rehab. This was the turning point, I guess, for me, was when, I don't know, I probably had 2 weeks left of rehab, and I was getting ready to lose my house. You know, me and my wife was still arguing. My head was still messed up from all the drugs I was using. My reality wasn't all the way there. But so I prayed. I was praying in the back of the van on the way home, and I was just praying for signs. You know,
I
and
like that. Yeah,
and because you know, it's either that or I was going to lose everything.
right.
But
And how old are you at this point? 30-something?
4 years ago, so
36-ish?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so I was looking around, and there was white flags from a golf course. So I seen the flags. I was like, all right, maybe that's a sign.
Interesting.
And then there was like a arrow advertising, you know, that says, you know, like to a store or something. And I seen the word surrender. So
Interesting.
yeah. But
Yeah.
see, I get the chills thinking about it.
I know. You know, the thing that's interesting about that is you can ask for signs 365 days a year at will. So
Yeah.
if it's a decision you're trying to make, or, you know, you're contemplating something different, you can, as we know, you can say, prove it, show me, and it will, because you'll be ready to see it and receive the information. So it sounds like you're on a course of, my producer's sending me a note here. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Very good. One of the things we're going to do today together, we're going to do two things before we wrap, and we've got about 20, 25 minutes, is we're going to co-create a My Power of One word together. You know, I have a brand called My Power of One, and create is one of my words. I chose that one for you today. And so together, we're going to put a new word into the brand because of our podcast today. So she's written down some words that we've talked about today together. But if you have something that's speaking to you, the word artist is already in the brand, but something that is comes out of our conversation today, sort of the heartbeat of it, I want to create that and put it into the brand forever because of our time together today. Is there anything that's speaking to you before I read these 5 words? Actually, there's 6.
I like the last one. I like surrender. I think that's a pretty bold word.
I love that one.
Yeah.
And that's one of the words that she chose. So the first guest that I had in January here, Stephanie Tillman, she was also an addict on the streets of Kansas City. And when I met her, she was out of the homeless shelter a few weeks. And she was immensely talented like you. And since then, I've known her, 16, 17 years now. She has done all my design work for all my films, all my websites, and she's been a constant in my life. But the word that she and I created together was heal.
Heal.
Because she had some childhood wounds that kept her from believing in, the value of herself, her worthiness. And so that word heal is an important, word for all of us, really. But surrender is the word that we're going to choose together. I will ask you one other question about surrender. I don't know where my pen went. And this is a creative question that you and I will understand. What color is surrender?
White.
I like how quickly you answered that. So I'm going to put into the My Power of One brand the word surrender. In the logo will be white. The shirts are like all the options of colors and stuff, but we're going to do that because it is a summary of our expression today. The other thing we're going to do together is create a random act of kindness. So the brand My Power of One stands for kindness. I might ask you in advance of that to define what kindness means to you.
Kindness. Stepping out of your way to do something to help others, getting out of your comfort zone, to do something for somebody else. Putting somebody else in front of you, I guess,
Okay. Thinking about the greater humanity and
the greater good,
the
yeah.
good for whoever it is.
Yeah.
Even if it's a stranger or someone that you care about. Random acts of kindness is kind of the heartbeat of the brand. We've done a zillion of them around the country, and together you and I are going to co-create one that's our audience that's listening could take on. So let's brainstorm a little bit about what random act of kindness, and I'm particularly big on anonymous random acts of kindness, but what random acts of kindness could someone have done for you when you needed it, or now could be done for another that would impact the level of positivity and all of that in what I like to call infinite humanity.
I think just being an opening ear, for somebody to express themselves or just to listen, sometimes I just wanted to be heard,
I love that.
But I think that's
Okay.
pretty important with an addict for sure. So
Okay.
if somebody has a problem or I can tell they're struggling, I always listen.
Okay.
There's sometimes I have to step back so it doesn't harm me or my family, but I'm
Good
always
point.
there to listen. I'm always there to give somebody some food or
Okay.
I shy away from giving people money all the time, because
Sure.
I don't know what their intentions are.
That's
But
true. Yeah. So
but definitely always listen. I'll always listen to anybody. My door's always open to listen. My phone's always open to listen. So
yeah, the thing I like about that is that it doesn't cost anything. It's
Yeah.
free. It costs time, of course, but it also costs being present
yeah,
is incredibly important. And I heard the term deep listening once recently, and I thought that resonated with me because it's more than just like listening so you can respond and say something back. It's just really sort of listening all the way in. And as you know, in your time of need, you could have really maybe not survived if you hadn't had somebody
yeah,
sitting there that
listening.
cared no matter what your story was. And so we're going to invite our audience to, for the Random Act of Kindness, to spend time with a loved one, a complete stranger, someone today who's ever listening to this, to spend time receiving. Sorry. Oh, yeah, thank you. My producer said wrap it up. She keeps me on track. So we've created a word together, surrender, and you decided it's white. I like your instantaneous answers, by the way. That is a true creative because you're not in your left brain. You're not thinking at all. It's just coming straight from your soul. I would love to, when you make prints of the Patrick Mahomes, I would love to market that for you.
Okay.
Would love to have a copy, obviously. Okay. And you've set your intention, which I want to reiterate here. Your intention is your wish list, your Toal bucket list, is to tattoo some of the Chiefs players.
Yeah.
Let's get a little more specific with that.
Well, I'd love to tattoo Mahomes.
There we go.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Let's take the top 3 that you'd like to tattoo.
Mahomes for sure.
He has some
Tony
tattoos.
Gonzalez is. I've always loved Tony Gonzalez. I know he's not a Chiefs player anymore, but
Right. Okay.
Tony Gonzalez.
So you're including past Chiefs players in this.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Just overall Chiefs.
Yeah.
No, I like Patrick Surtain too. He doesn't play for the Chiefs neither anymore.
Okay.
But those were probably three of my favorite.
Those are three.
Yeah.
All right. So, and I think Patrick Holmes has some tattoos. I think I've seen something on his physicality.
Travis Kelce, yeah.
Travis. She's not a fan of Travis. I'm a fan of Travis. All right, so that is your intention that you're setting today, is to do some tattoos for the Chiefs players. We are going to wrap here in a couple of minutes, but when you create a tattoo for someone, and I admittedly have none, my daughter and her husband have tattoos, and probably in today's world, I'm going to say 3 out of 5 people have tattoos somewhere. People bring you pictures. Do they? You picked one off the wall on your first one, but do they? Is the process hours and hours?
I like to do it right when they're there.
Right.
Most of the time. Otherwise, I'll overthink it. My anxiety gets high, so I just encourage. Bring pictures. Show me what styles of things you like. Color, black and gray, because there's different styles of tattooing. There's realism, neo-traditional, new school. There's all kinds of different styles. So I try to pick the same, whatever, the same style that you're wanting, and then we just go from there. Because like I said, nothing ever. It always changes a little bit when the person gets there. So
That's true. And then I'm assuming you've done some tattoos that are a first tattoos for people.
Oh, yeah.
The first one on their body. And then some that are like their 100th or whatever. Mm-hmm. If I were to ask you how many tattoos you had, would you know?
No, I don't know. I stopped counting.
Maybe a bunch?
Yeah, I want to say a lot.
Are you done?
No, I still got more.
You got more skin you can do?
Yeah.
She's had my producer's had a tattoo with him. And she wants another one, by the way. 3.
Yeah.
She's had
one with him and then 3 total.
3 total. All right. And she wants another one. So, well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be in your presence.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me do this. This is nice of you.
I really we're tickled to death to meet in person, and I think us connecting has some future networks. And then so I want to wrap by letting people know where to get a hold of you again. Go ahead and give us sort of that drill again.
On Instagram, #ToalBucket81, or Stephen Toal on Facebook, or Toal Bucket on Facebook as well.
Okay.
My phone number is on my Toal Bucket site, so
Okay.
that's more or less for wall murals. But
Right.
I'm in the works of trying to do a new website, so but the easiest way to get a hold of me now is either Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, and I'll take one of those cards so that I can give that information.
Okay.
Connect that on there, and we will. You are going to be on the show on June 15th. Is when it's going to be live. So
Okay.
it'll be on all the podcasts, and I'll put it up the night before that day or whatever. All the podcast platforms, and I chose June 15th because it's National Photography Day, and that's one of your gifts as a photographer. So we've got how to get a hold of you. You are available for commission work. You've set your intentions to tattoo the Chiefs. And so I want to thank you for being here. And then Stephen Toal is our guest today, visiting with us. And we have chosen a word together and a random act of kindness together. The Wizard of One podcast we call it a magical journey of kindness. And all the podcasts can be found on all the platforms, and also mypowerofone.com has all the years. Will be the 6th one we've done this year. We are going to interview next Trudy Lugwig, who is an author of children's books. She's coming to us this afternoon, based out of Portland, Oregon, and she has a book called The Power of One, which is how I found her. So thank you very much. Again, it was my honor to have you here.
Same.
And we will be in communication in the future. And so we're wrapping for today. Thanks a lot, Stephen.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.